We have some major breaking news. Donald Trump just sent out a long Truth Social post claiming he's backing out of trade talks with Canada. Although I'm not sure Canada was seriously engaging in the first place, I want to read this post to you. And there's something very, very specific I want you to notice. Because a few months ago, when Trump was relentlessly attacking Canada and placing massive tariffs on steel and aluminum, he was going for Justin Trudeau in particular. He was attacking Justin Trudeau personally, calling him Governor Trudeau, even though it was Prime Minister Trudeau. But now, when Donald Trump attacks Canada in the same exact manner, he doesn't really mention Mark Carney, and it's because I think he's scared. He is scared of Mark Carney, who is a very, very clever, brilliant strategist, especially when it comes to the economy. So we'll break down this post in 1 second, but Trump is not only chickening out of these trade deals. Can I just point out that earlier today he was asked about trade deals as a whole, and he's chickening out across the board. Just listen.
President, thank you very much. On July 9th, is that July 9th date set for tariffs to snap back, or could there be a...
We can do whatever we want. We could extend it. We could make it shorter. I'd like to make it shorter. I'd like to just send letters out to everybody. Congratulations, you're paying 25%. He doesn't want. He's.
This dude has no plan. He has no end goal. This was earlier today. Remember the catchphrase 90 deals in 90 days? That's what Trump kept saying. He's gotten 0 deals. In fact, he has shredded up perfectly good deals from the Obama era and replaced them with nothing. For example, with South Korea. We had an amazing trade deal with South Korea negotiated by Obama with basically free trade. Trump got into office, tore that up by placing more tariffs on South Korea, even though we already had free trade. And now he hasn't negotiated anything, but he's basically attempting to just renegotiate the Obama deal, which was free trade with South Korea. That Obama deal was ratified through Congress, and now Trump overrode that, which is part of the reason why people were saying Congress has to step in. And whatever Trump strikes now won't be through Congress. It'll be arbitrary for 4 years and have to be renegotiated. An absolute and utter mess. Here's Governor Gavin Newsom on the MeidasTouch earlier today talking about how he's suing Fox, going on the offense against Trump. I'm telling you, Trump is chickening out across the board, and we have leaders like Gavin Newsom rising up. By the way, make sure you drop a like on the video below. Regularly, YouTube doesn't show my content to some people. Sometimes it does not push it out. So if you drop a like and if you subscribe below with notifications on, that helps. But let's watch this.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, I think you summed it up beautifully. I mean, they knowingly misrepresented the facts. They altered and edited statements of the President of the United States, videos, and they knowingly stated that I lied about a phone call with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, as we know, lied about a phone call he had with me the day before. That call, in fact, was almost 4 days prior. Trump himself went to John Roberts of Fox to show a screenshot of the call. That call was never in question. They went on then to alter the fact that the president said it was a call the day before, and then it was weaponized further on the Jesse Waters show, who had a chyron saying Gavin lied about President Trump. And so, look, I can take it. These guys go after me 24/7. I'm a piñata and have been for years and years at Fox. Never once did I think I had to file a defamation lawsuit. But this crossed the line.
It crossed the line, and now Newsom's playing on Trump's turf. The thing is, I think one other person that could play on Trump's turf is Mark Carney. So when Trump makes a post attacking Canada, I genuinely think Mark Carney may be one of the most effective leaders to take on Trump, one of the best strategists. It doesn't even take a strategist, but it just takes somebody who knows how to pool the resources and create a coalition. And Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney has repeatedly said Canada will continue to pursue its own interests and conduct negotiations in the best interests of Canadians, despite pressure from Trump, despite pressure from anybody else. Canadian officials themselves have resisted calls from Trump and U.S. lawmakers to delay this new tax that's being put in place, and this tax is the exact reason why Trump is mad. So it's called the Digital Service Tax, the DST. That's what triggered Trump so much, and it's set to apply retroactively to a lot of U.S. tech firms. So think like Apple, Meta, Google. All of these companies will owe a few billion in back taxes combined. And Trump said, quote, "We have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with," dude, look who's talking, you set tariffs on the world. Literally, it reminds me of a skit from Norm Macdonald where he's talking about Hitler declaring war, not just on one country, but the world. And he's like, this is after, 20 years before, Germany again tried to declare a war on the world. That's when Trump gets into office and he's like, I'm not going to apply targeted tariffs with some end goal. No. I'm going to slap tariffs on the entire world. So you're difficult to trade with, Trump. Okay, to continue. Quote, we have just been informed that Canada, a very difficult country to trade with, including the fact that they have charged our farmers as much as 400% tariffs for years on dairy products, has just announced that they are putting a digital services tax on our American technology companies, which is a direct and blatant attack on our country. Okay, so when you place tariffs on every other country across the globe, that's not an attack. You don't call that an attack. You call that diplomacy or rebalancing the scales. But when Canada places a tax that has a good argument for it, apparently that's like an attack on our country, like they're declaring war. Quote, they're obviously copying the European Union, which has done the same thing and is currently under discussion with us also. Based on this egregious tax, we are hereby terminating all discussions on trade with Canada effective immediately. We will let Canada know the tariff that they will be paying to do business with the United States within the next 7-day period. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Oh, 7-day period. He caught on and realized he can't keep saying in 2 weeks, in 2 weeks. If he would have said 14 days, I would have burst out laughing. But just remember, Canada is the United States' second largest trading partner. We have bilateral trade in goods that exceed $750 billion last year. So any abrupt halt in trade or increase in tariffs will immediately reverse all of the progress we've made and continue our economic downfall. But here's the thing. Trump doesn't really care, and also he chickens out repeatedly. And when I say he chickens out, I'm not saying I want him to do the tariffs or I want him to be self-destructive, but over and over he has this tactic of declaring that he's going to do something and then giving it 2 weeks and then chickening out and then not doing anything. And it just seems desperate at this point. He also made this long post about the Ayatollah. He said, why would the so-called supreme leader, Ayatollah of the war-torn country Iran, say so blatantly and foolishly that he won the war with Israel when he knows his statement is a lie? You can save this prediction. Remember this prediction. I think within the next year, maybe 2 years, Israel and Netanyahu immediately begin to say, we have more intelligence. We have more intelligence about nukes. They're already rebuilding. And rather than reaching some diplomatic deal or negotiation, we are going to strike once more, and it's going to be incredibly painful when we end up entering another forever war in the Middle East. It sucks, and Trump always chickens out. Never forget that. If you made it this far, comment Trump always chickens out. Leave a blue heart. I love you all. See you in the next one, and peace out.